are listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny, and it's Satanic. who can't go into churches without vomiting.
Bloody hell! Do you got that
Bloody hell.
that vomit bucket around anywhere? Do you still have that?
That's to the side.
It's to the side.
That's to the
How many
side.
times have you filled it up?
Oh, enough times recently. Anyway,
Not enough times. How you doing, buddy? How's it going? Everything
not
good?
too bad.
Good to hear, man. Good to
Why
hear.
am I first on the list here?
Well, look, we could shift it if you want.
That doesn't
I
matter to me. I
figured
don't care.
I figured I'd give you the other side there. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, for tonight.
just for tonight. Good, good.
We're going to explore some pretty neat stuff tonight, I think. And we've had Matt on several times, but I don't think we've ever had Matt on for a proper show.
No, well, I think we did once, didn't we?
No. Well, we've had him on for round tables and
Yeah.
whatever else, but we've never, picked his brain. Or have we? Well, I guess we have picked his brain.
Oh, we haven't picked his ass, that's for sure. Just before we get on, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat.
Yep.
It's too many people to write individually.
Say Melissa, Sue, Neil, exploring. Hey, Brady, how are you? Bearded Reality.
Marcy's in there. I saw Marcy lurking.
Abandoned Landscapes. Liam's in there. Barry, Tracy, and the real Slim Shady. All right. Well, hey, look, we won't waste any time. Hey, Matt, how are you? Good evening.
Oh, sir. Look at that.
Bloody hell. How you doing?
Don't let on to everybody that we share the same barber, okay?
Yeah.
How you doing?
We might be related, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had a long few days or day or couple days or weekend.
Yeah. Been crazy few days. Yeah. I've had one explorer guy, B-Face Computing. He's been with me for about a week. And then his friend came down at the same time, and he came down towards the end of the week. They were together, and we've been exploring for probably best part of a week. We've been out doing stuff, and it's been. Let me just put my phone on silent for some reason. Everybody's telling me stuff. What is it? Am I too loud? Too quiet? What's going on?
Yeah, watch the last video you made available there. That the house there that you did with what was it, Dan?
Yeah. The talking house with the ghost thing. That was weird. Yeah. Andrew had something that went round a doorway like a shadow.
Andrew. Yeah, that's it.
And I had something as well. I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember what it was. It's been a few weeks. I filmed something, and he filmed something. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember. Was it like I walked up was it me or him? I can't remember now because I'm remembering the footage. He walked up the stairs, and as he was walking up, I think this was Andrew, a shadow went around the corner.
Oh, wow.
Which was kind of weird. And I had something as well. Yeah. Can't remember what it was now. It's just like you have something happen. You have so many things happen to you in your life. You kind of lose track. Yeah.
Well, the place looked kind of unsafe, huh? I mean, you had to really watch where you were walking.
Yeah, it was.
Which one is this? This the Torquay Ghost Mansion?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, watch it. It's pretty cool. And has Andrew made his available?
I believe he has, but yeah, I'm just going to see if I can work out what it was that was there now. Let me see if I can call it up. I can work it out then. Yeah, I should have if I'd had time included his footage in mine, but I may not have done that. Torquay Ghost Mansion. Here we are. What have we got then? We got the ghost light clip. Maybe this was mine then. I don't know. Weird light scene, or maybe I should show it then.
Sure.
Oh, that's right. I'm the light On the door, yeah. I'm the light on the door, and he's the shadow that moved around the corner. That's the
Okay.
one. Yeah. Is it too early to show it, or should we do like they do on television? We'll say, right, we'll give you 5 advert breaks, and later on, after bigging it up, then right at the end of the show, we'll show it to you.
We can show it. We can show it now because
Wait,
I
what
really
kind of
Don't
ad? What kind
forget.
of ads can we possibly be showing here?
Oh God, we could put so many ads in between now and then. My God, yeah.
hey Ollie, how's it going?
Let me see if I can bring it
Yeah.
up then.
Yeah, it's an interesting location, man. It really, really neat. And yeah, it's yeah, you really have to watch where you're walking. I noticed that one corridor that you're going, you had to like basically go walking on the beams, the
Yeah.
support beams there. It's like holy shit. And you like the floor was completely gone,
Yeah.
you know.
We've had a few of those recently, those sorts of places. Right. It won't let me bring it up into StreamYard because StreamYard says that the video clip doesn't have any video. Right. Well, so I'll have to
One of
make
those
it.
deals.
Yeah, I'll have to make it full screen over there and do it by
Okay.
presenting the screen.
Okay.
There we are.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Gotta love stream
There
here.
we are.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. So it's this weird light scene. It's going to be nice and smooth. Not really.
Lock this door as well. Nailed it. Nails coming through
That's
there.
not very smooth.
No.
It's just kicked.
Wow. Okay, let me. It plays a lot better when I don't have Mad VR on. Let me try that then, because that's something that buffers video to make it smoother on a big TV. Now it won't stop. Right, let me start it again. We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh my God! Just look what I'm watching. I'm watching the WAV files in the background. Yeah, right. We'll try that again then. Probably play better this time. Here we are. Looks a bit better. Weird light scene. Now look at the doorway with the A on it.
Nailed it.
Did you see like a
Yeah, I did
a
see
light
that,
flash
Yeah.
across it?
Yep.
And somebody's just kicked their way through it.
Yeah. There are actually 2 lights, in fact. It's a bit hard to see, so I've done a bit of enhancement on it. So people are upstairs and they're in a different part of the building. So there's nobody else downstairs. So there's nobody should have any lights shining around.
Yeah.
And my light is shining directly forwards.
Nails
So
coming
why
through
does the light move across the door?
there.
Yeah. Didn't you have that happen before? I'm pretty sure I seen something similar like that, Matt.
Ghost Adventures of Cornwall.
That's it. That's it.
There.
Yeah.
Nails coming through.
Okay.
Lock this door as well.
You see it move across.
That's interesting.
And when you take the time to look even closer, there's something weird happens. Let me stop it. All right. Okay. So it starts here and it moves across. Then it becomes blackness. And then the blackness moves across.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if you know about light, well, you can reflect light, but generally you don't reflect black.
No.
Blackness doesn't get shone across something.
No.
But in this case, something is moving across, which is black, which is weird.
Nails coming through
So,
there.
and you can see it. It's very hard to see, but let me just see if I can just show you the black bit.
Lock
So,
this door as well.
so just watch out about here for the blackness. It'll move across.
Nailed it. Nails coming
Yeah.
through
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah,
the door as well.
and then lighten it up, and
Nails coming through there.
And there
you
you
see
go.
it sort of moving across. It's weird. But Andrew's got one as well. And Mark, Ghost Adventures of Cornwall, let me just shut that off then.
Mhm.
He did one in a different house. But as he's walking towards the doorway and he's rounding the doorway, there's a shadowy sort of like edge of almost a person, and it darts out of the way. And then he goes into the room and looks and he says, "Did anybody see that? Did anybody see that?" Because it literally jumped out of the way. And Andrew had pretty much the same thing. As he went to the top of the stairs, as he gets to the top of the stairs, there's a figure and it moves, and much quicker than he was moving, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
So if it was a shadow he was casting, then as he was walking, you'd imagine it would move. So as he's moving, it would move, and this thing sort of goes and jumps out quickly, which is weird. Seems out of place.
So what do you know what was behind that door where that doorway led to?
That's to the outside of the house. That's
Outside the house. Okay.
the front of the house. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Mm.
So what are your thoughts? What are your theories about what that might be?
I don't know. Some sort of spirit, some sort of otherworldly object. I don't know.
It's weird because I mean, yeah, you can compare that, and have you should try that, Matt. Like maybe compare it to the what is it? The one that the ghost. What is the Ghost Adventures of Cornwall? The one that they captured.
Yeah, I did actually enhance it. I'm not sure if I can lay my hands on it right now, but
Yeah.
I may have it knocking around. Let me just see. Ghost may have it. Ghost Adventures of Cornwall close clip analysis. There we go.
Because yeah, like I mean, it's similar the way the light sort of moves from the doorway.
Mm. And I'm not sure whether I've got Andrews. May have it. Which is the best clip to show you? Yeah, which one's going to look the best? I've got the 2:49 version.
Hey, Dinkum.
Probably that one then. Let's have a look, because I probably got. Oh, this is the whole thing. So this is including, and then you probably got the clip, which is where I've enhanced it.
I don't think Alex. I don't think you've even seen this, have you?
I haven't. No.
Right, let me rack the volume up then. Okay, present screen, other screen, that one, and include audio, share. Okay, press play.
You feel like someone's behind you?
Yeah, I don't want to stop pushing you again.
Mark, I feel that we're being watched
Yeah, I do as well.
by spirit.
Where, from behind or in front?
I felt somebody over there was looking at us. Didn't see anything, but felt it.
It's that doorway now on the left, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Right there.
There. Okay. Now you could miss it, but he saw it because he went, "Whoa," And so I'll just replay it.
So he saw it with his naked eye.
He saw it with his naked eye, and I think his camera was in his left hand, so his eyes crossed round the doorway before his camera did, but his camera still caught it, so he saw even more of it, so it caught his attention. So he'd just seen it there. Let me just bring it back. So
right there.
Yeah. Now I'll enhance it.
Right there.
And it's quite hard because it's
very subtle. Very subtle.
Yeah. I just seen something in there.
And it doesn't even, like we said before, it doesn't even look like light.
Yeah. Now this was a live video, and he walks into the room, looks all around, so there was nobody in the room. So there's no way out of that room as well. So
to the left.
So he looks in.
I don't know if I've got that on camera. It was like a light in the red light.
Oh,
What?
I've seen it. It's a solid figure.
Yeah, she saw it come up 30 seconds later on the live stream she had playing on a
Yeah.
video.
Oh shit! We caught half an apparatus. I can't even speak.
It's like it's gone through the porcelain.
Oh, wow.
So was that my
That is
enhancement of
crazy.
it? I don't know. It's not the enhancement. Let me
Which
see if
is
I've got the
weird.
enhancement.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean, if it is light, it's awfully dull, and it just very subtle.
Yeah. So So this is the whole thing, and then you've got my analysis as well. So this is
Like
the
a white,
analysis
isn't it?
version.
Yeah, and we're all on red light. That, which is weird that a white light.
Oh, I can't catch it. How do I slow it down?
Oh,
Yeah. You notice that,
Oh.
Alex?
Yeah, that kind of looks like right by the door handle, right?
oh,
Yeah, yeah. Right above the
Yeah.
door handle there.
Yeah.
oh,
It doesn't look like a light though.
I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
oh.
Looks like
It looks like an object. It's
Oh,
not an
no? Yeah.
illumination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a piece of cloth.
Oh. 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 Oh.
It's weird.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just played around with
You
it
feel
as
like
many
someone's
ways
behind
as I
you?
could.
Yeah, I don't want to start pushing you again.
Like I feel that we're being watched
Yeah, I do as well.
by spirit.
Where, from behind or in front?
I felt somebody over there
Yeah.
was looking at us.
Come on.
Didn't see anything, but felt it.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Did you try?
Anyway,
Did you try running it through a negative?
I may have done. Let's see what else we've done with
Negative
it.
or even infrared?
Oh.
So I've
Oh.
tracked it so it doesn't now
Oh.
it stabilized the motion.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's quick.
Oh.
It is, man.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Sounds like a disco tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
I go forwards and backwards on just on that little clip so you can see the motion
Yeah.
backwards and forwards. So
There wasn't anything attached to the door, was there?
Oh, you saw when you went around the door, right?
Yeah.
there's nothing in the room. The door is pressed flat against a wall.
Yeah.
So the wall comes out in line with the direction the door is now facing. So, you know, you'd have to be a pretty thin person to stand behind the
Yeah.
door, you know. Yeah. Fleeting glimpses. Yeah.
It just has a very like unique sort of odd movement.
Mm.
Like it's there and it's noticed. Yeah, it's just really weird.
And he said he saw more of it. So it was like the edge of a figure because his hand was holding the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you know, his eyes rounded that corner more, you know, more quick than his camera did.
Yeah.
Because of the position. I think if the camera had been in his right hand, you know, he probably would have seen even more of this object because the camera would have rounded the corner before his eyes did. So he'd have seen, the camera would have seen more. But because his camera was in his left hand, his eyes saw more of the object than the camera did. You know,
It would have been interesting if they had a stationary camera there to see how that would have played out with another sort of angle.
Yeah.
Did they witness anything else throughout that investigation, or was it just that one incident?
I think it was just that one that was caught on that occasion. I could be wrong, but yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
he'd be an interesting guy for you to bring on, actually, because I mean he's had lots of experience.
His name's Mark, right? Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I remember Mark. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
Mm.
But what I really what we really want to pick your brain about, Matt, is and I stumbled across the PDFs of magazine or a publication from the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Truth Seekers Review.
Mm.
I tried to get on that site, even on my computer. I cannot access it.
It wouldn't let you. I had no
No.
problems. Maybe it's because I used a VPN from the UK.
Yeah, maybe.
Might have allowed me. But let us know about it. I mean, how did that come into being? And yeah, tell us about that, because it's interesting. I love it, man.
Yeah, it was just a sort of self-published magazine, and I was interested in magazines that were out there. I used to write for some of them. I had done since being a kid, actually. That's how I got my first kind of my teeth into the idea of, well, hey, you can be published in something, because I was a kid and I had a computer and I learned how to program it, and magazines existed whereby you could send programs into magazines and they would publish them, as actual text, and then other people would type them in and run your program from the magazines. And I just thought, like, as a kid, I thought, oh, somebody might be interested in this thing. Sent it in, and next thing I got like a £50 check came through the door. I was like,
Wow.
as a kid, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. So I was like, right, what else can I write? It's kind of, it didn't even click to me that a kid could make money doing that, and
Yeah.
so, and then publishing, it stayed with me then, the interest in publishing. I published for UFO magazines, wrote stuff for, about 3 magazines out there, actually, in the UK. But I also wanted to sort of publish stuff about other things I was interested in, not just UFOs, but things about conspiracies and what's going on the government don't tell you about, animal testing, drugs, things, and all sorts of stuff, So I published my own little weird magazine that kind of blended all those things together, ghosts, the paranormal, government conspiracies. And I published it under the name of the Truth Seekers Review. And yeah.
And like how many people were contributing? Like you obviously, and how many others?
There were a loose bunch of people. Myself and Paul Damon, that I knew.
Yeah.
He was kind of like a friend of mine from the UFO days, so we were regular writers. And then we just took articles in from other people,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
people would write to us, and if it didn't sound too out there, we'd give it a chance, clean it up, just make sure it was grammatically correct, but keep the spirit of the original piece. That was one thing we didn't really like doing. It was, we didn't edit down. And as you've seen today, I mean, my videos are non-edited, as much as they can be. It's like my interviews with somebody is literally, we just take out the pauses and we take out the moments when we had to go to the toilet, and I don't tend to sort of mishmash everything together in the way you see television does, where it's kind of like switch from this person to this person, back to that person, to this person, to this person. It's like an interview with me.
Yeah.
Back in the day was a bit like you get an interview with Joe Rogan now. It's a sit down, long form interview, no edits.
So, how long did it, how long were you publishing it for? How many, like, I noticed there's, I think, what, 22 issues, but 18 were available. I don't know. How many total?
It might have been a few more than that. I'm not sure if all of them have been digitized. It was published on such a shoestring, because I think a lot of them were done on an Amiga computer.
Oh, wow. Amiga. Holy crap.
This was pre IBM PC, because I literally couldn't even afford an IBM PC. They were quite expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
And I had an Amiga, and it was just about capable of doing that sort of stuff. I connected a scanner to it. I could scan the images in grayscale, and It would just about handle printing them out in a laser printer to get the originals, and then to get around the printing costs, because printing, even photocopying, is exorbitant. I actually went out and bought a second-hand photocopier, serviced it myself to get it working,
Yeah.
and used to buy toner cartridges which were compatible with it, so they were cheap ones, and then paper, print it myself in my house, and collate it, which is a pain in the arse if anybody's ever tried that. I mean, it's like sitting there in a room with hundreds of sheets of paper all in front of you,
Yeah.
and you've got to literally take it like one from this, one from this, one from
Oh
this, one
yeah,
from this, one from this, one from this, one from, and
yeah.
then once you've got all the pages,
Mm,
tap them and stack them, and you stack them in like that. So one that way, that way, that way.
yeah.
So you can.
Yeah.
So then later on, when you go to staple them, you can pull them off the stack one way, one way, one way, and then you had to have an elongated stapler, one that'll reach across that distance, and
Yeah.
and then bang, bang, then you have to fold them. Folding them is a pain in the ass as well, because you've got to line it up, squeeze it, and sorry, I've got a cold at the moment.
Yeah.
I got a cold. I'm full of cold. So I've been
Oh.
exploring for the last 3 days with a completely runny nose, snotty. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's been hell. It's been absolute hell. Yeah, I was not even wanting to go and do the explore, but I didn't want to let people down. We went and did it, and I'm glad I did, because we got some smashing videos, actually, some real bangers. But
Good.
yeah, I'm full of cold, and yeah.
So I mean, what kind of following did the magazine have? I mean, it's probably got some sort of a cult following now.
It wasn't widely distributed, I'll be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. I was surprised anybody actually bought it at all,
Yeah.
but it had quite a loyal following. We had
Yeah.
members. It was sent out in the post by hand by me
Mhm.
with labels. I used to print the labels out and stick them on. So I tried to automate the process as much as I possibly could. And yeah, literally used to take them all to the post office and post them. And yeah, so it was under 100 members. I
Yeah.
know that it wasn't. And yeah, the funny thing was that it did have a kind of like people knew about it. So when I would go to conferences and things like that on UFOs and whatnot, people would say like, "Oh, I've read your magazine," and I got some of the magazine publishers as well. Used to tip their hat to the fact that somebody was trying to do an independent magazine, which not many people were doing it. You used to get like pamphlets almost with a lot of organizations like British UFO Research Association. Maybe have like a 4 or 5 page booklet or something like that, and they weren't very big. I tried to make mine about 30 pages.
Yeah.
Some of the magazines that you could buy on the newsstand might be 30 to 50 pages of color, but I mean, I investigated what it would cost to actually put a magazine like that together. Even spoke to the people, like said, how do you do this? And they were like, well, let me tell you how hard and expensive it is. And they gave me
Yeah.
the kind of like, the lowdown. And I couldn't believe how hard it was and how expensive it was to actually get a magazine to newsstand. You're talking about upfront costs of probably about 20,000 to 60,000 pounds upfront
Wow.
costs
Well, yeah.
per magazine.
Holy
Per
crap.
magazine, yeah.
Wow.
And you don't get paid by the distributors who send them out to all the newsstands, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get paid from them for 6 months minimum, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So you've got to have 6 editions where you never get paid, and you're waiting for the money to come in from edition 1. Bearing in mind that that's sale or return. So if the distributor doesn't promote the magazine for you, get it into a good visible position on the stands, then it'll be returned. So you won't get any money for that. So you paid for it, it'll be returned, and returned means you won't physically get it coming back and you've got the physical copy, that
Yeah.
means it comes back to the distributors, who then pulp it and tell you how many they didn't sell,
Yeah.
and you don't even know whether it ever made it to a newsstand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Abandoned
Excuse me.
abandoned landscapes, asking what year. So when in the 90s are we talking about?
Yeah, this was like early 90s, so probably like 1990 to 1994, maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but there were magazines like UFO magazine, which was
Mm.
Graham Birdsall, and he was a very big name in British ufology, and he used to organize a lot of stuff. Good businessman. The magazine was very successful.
Hmm.
It was in the newsstands, and his magazine led the way for a lot of other, sort of not copycat, but complementary type.
Yeah.
There was UFO Reality,
Hmm.
and there was Alien Encounters magazine, which was actually produced by a professional publishing house. That they
Yeah.
their own in-house sort of publications, and I helped and wrote for various magazines like that, and I used to submit them photographs and all sorts of stuff. So I was down as a consultant in some respects. So I would get to be asked my opinion about UFO stuff, and yeah, it was an interesting time, because there was a heyday back then of like
Yeah.
UFO programs and sightings on television. Remember the program Sightings?
Sightings. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Now, I mean, Sightings was considered like groundbreaking, like a
Mhm.
program about UFOs, and
Yeah.
then TV programs were appearing in the UK where they were like looking at it. Now, the History Channel, it's almost like as if they might as well just call it the UFO and Conspiracy Channel.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's one. Like, I mean, have you had anyone come up to you and said, "Hey, Matt, look what I have," and a copy of one of the editions?
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you get that?
Not that often,
No.
but I was very pleased once when without even knowing that they were into the magazine, I went up to see UFO magazine's headquarters once, and when I went there, unannounced, sitting on their coffee table where people come in the reception, were all the editions of the magazine. I was like,
Oh, no
Jesus.
way.
Yeah.
That is
So
cool.
yeah, they liked it, So
That is cool.
yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's pretty neat. I know if I was, and we're talking about, Wales, right? I mean, we're pretty much where it
Yeah,
was.
Wales,
Yeah.
land of my father.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like you said, it wasn't a huge publication, but I mean, it did have its following.
Yeah, it was kind of like a labor of love, just because nobody else was doing something of its kind, and I would have liked to have seen it in big print, but it was I knew the unrealistic nature of the print, how much it's going to cost you, how much of an
Mm,
investment is going
yeah.
to be up front, waiting for that return. And the returns are only going to just keep you running. They're not going to kind of be it's not going to be a profit thing. I don't think any of these magazines were ever really making money, but they were turning over.
Mhm.
That's it. So, but then I realized even back then, it was it's more about getting it out there, the information out there. So I was early in on computers, in general. As I said, my first things were writing computer programs, getting them published. And when the internet came along, and modems,
Mhm.
first bulletin boards,
Yeah.
bulletin boards,
Yep. I remember them
it,
well. Yeah.
I was getting software off bulletin boards, and people were passing messages on bulletin boards, but some bulletin boards would specialize in information and things like this. So
Yeah.
I was starting to sort of think, well, hang on, you could publish online, which a lot of people weren't even thinking about that back
Yeah.
then. It was like, well, so you can get the information and don't make it copyright, say, well, here it is for free.
Yeah.
Another concept that people kind of couldn't understand, like, you're giving this stuff away free, and it's like, yeah, like look at YouTube now. It's like
exactly.
it's all there for free.
Yeah.
So. And so I started digitizing the magazines in a way that they could be kind of like uploaded. And I built an early website when the web came out, and it was very basic, and it's still on the internet there. It's somewhere if you can find it. In its most basic form, it's just like, here's the Truth Seekers magazines. Click which edition you want, and you click it, and you get a PDF drops into your. It wasn't even PDF back then. I think it was something more simple than that. I think it was like just JPEG or something, or no, I think it was HTML. It was just like you
Yeah,
click it, it was HTML page comes up with a big JPEG in it, of the page.
I've got it here. I've got the.
I'm not even sure that the PDF existed back then, so that was more of a modern thing where I scanned them all back into PDF,
Okay.
But it was just a way of saying, well, look, paper-wise it's a pain in the ass to produce, but people like to have a physical paper thing. But here, you can have it and print it out yourself, or just view it on screen and save the planet, and view it with electrons rather than it costing a lot of money.
It's saying it's not secure anymore.
Oh yeah.
But that's fine. But here I'll put it in chat for those who might be interested. But there it is. And I mean, like I said, I stumbled upon it.
It's a terribly maintained website. It looks awful, by the way, by today's standards. So
Well,
yeah,
but it's cool though. I mean, it's a piece of history. And so let's okay. So with that in mind, okay, what is the link between that and the Secret Vault? Because obviously, when people watch the Secret Vault, when they watch the YouTube channel, they see the Truth Seekers
Truth Seekers review.
They see
became
the thing there.
became Truth Seekers. If you notice, it's there, right?
Yeah.
But people they miss that. They go Truth Seekers, the Secret Vault.
Yeah,
The word Truth Seekers is up there.
Yeah, it's there.
But very few people know what that bit is. It's like, that's what it used to be. It was the Truth Seekers review.
Yeah.
And now it's their secret vault.
Oh, Secret Vault.
So anyone wants to know, like, what does the Secret Vault? Why am I the Secret Vault? Is there a secret vault? Is it out there? What? It was Truth Seekers.
Yeah.
But now it's like all of the archive of our stuff, our videos, our photos, our investigations. It's the Secret Vault.
The Secret Vault. Yeah.
It's here it is, the big stuff, the good stuff.
Good
so
stuff.
yeah.
The stuff you've never seen before. The stuff I've stumbled or got my fingers on, and you never thought I could.
Yeah.
Did you get it? Like some of the information for the magazine? Are we talking about some nefarious sort of, contacts that sort of, hey, look, Matt, I stumbled on some government documentation.
We did have that. Yes, we did have a few things were gifted to us or dropped in our laps.
Okay.
Posted to us, so some things came anonymously, and I was like, and there was a great thing which I loved, the document about what fire departments and governments would do if there was a returning from orbit satellite accident, whereby a satellite comes through the atmosphere, comes down to the ground, crashes, maybe makes a bit of a crater. But specifically, if you read the document, it was like if it had things on board that could be dangerous, nuclear materials.
Yeah.
And I think they were being a little bit coy there, like nuclear materials that came in from a satellite in space. Read between the lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it basically said, if an incident like this happens, and it plays out very much like a scenario you probably know from somewhere else. So let me just kind of put you there then. Right, something's come in, grazed the atmosphere, burnt up, glowing, pile of something has hit the ground. What do the government do? Well, first off, they cordon the area off.
Yeah.
Then they start lying to the media. And this is a document telling you the playbook. It's kind of like, telling the people there's nothing going on. Yeah. Kind of monitoring what people are up to make sure that nobody's trying to get the information out there about what's going on. Yeah. But basically lie to the public. Don't tell them what it is, especially if it's nuclear. Yeah. And I thought, wow, could this be true? Well, yeah, it was true. It was their playbook. So you can imagine what would happen if a UFO came down, and it was like they'd use the same playbook. It's like, get agents out there, into the community, find out what they know, start injecting disinformation about what it is, and keep the media at bay, lie, say it was something else, start spinning stories,
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, we had that provided to us anonymously, and
Wow.
yeah,
It's amazing. And obviously television with shows like, the X-Files would emphasize stuff like that. Oh, look at, hey, the amount of disinformation to cover up the truth. And I mean, when you got closer to the truth, then what happened, Matt, when you got closer to that truth?
yeah. Well, Glasgow's Dave says, do I think the governments are going to ever tell the truth about UFOs? Are the governments ever going to tell the truth about anything?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
No.
I mean,
probably.
it's like the frog and the scorpion, isn't it? The scorpion wants to get across the river, and the frog's like, oh, I can't take you across, and he's like, oh yeah, but I'm gonna die. Take me across, and the frog takes the scorpion across. Scorpion promises like he won't sting him, and when he gets to the other side, the scorpion stings the frog, and the frog dies. It's like, yeah, you can't change the nature of the beast. It is what it is. It's like secrecy will always be there. Governments will always lie. Public will always lap it up. Like the sheeple that we are.
Mm-hmm.
That governments are cockroaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not
Oh,
scorpions.
Oh,
They just don't die.
yeah. And they're not Lears, they're liars, Mr. Glasgow Dave. Check your spelling, sir.
Lears.
Check your spelling.
So what is cool though, Matt, even though you're doing a lot of you do a lot of urbexing, a lot, you do keep your foot in the UFO sort of realm.
I watch as much as I possibly can, as long as it's not like ridiculous tabloid level, of like,
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, Weekly World News, like, there's so much regurgitated material out there, with they just look at they look at like websites and just take a couple of pictures, and then they go, right, how can we make these 5 pictures and these 3 stories span an hour? And then they start picking out clips and stock footage, basically stock footage library. And they just start putting music and padding and padding and padding and padding and padding, and they make a whole hour out of just 4 pieces of information, which I could tell you now, in 30 seconds. I could just tell you them and save you the time of watching the 1-hour program,
Yeah.
And that's the formula for a lot of people's bullshit out there, and it drives me nuts.
And I mean, there is so much. Yeah, there's so much, and of course, it's more readily available now to a lot more people to get this stuff out there. I mean, you look at like channels like Tubi, for instance. I don't know if you guys have Tubi over there. But Tubi, it's much like Netflix. It's like a free Netflix sort of thing, owned by now. It was owned by MGM. I think it's Disney that owns it.
I've heard of it, but
I think it's Sony.
Is it Sony that owns it now?
I'm pretty sure I read it was Sony that owned it.
Anyhow, when you can go on to Tubi, and literally it is like fucking drowned by so many UFO documentaries. So many of them. And
I knew back in the 90s when there was a like a build-up of interest in UFOs and ghost shows and things like that. And you could see the ratings, because back then everyone was watching television,
Yeah.
because that was all there was. There was no video on demand.
Mhm.
It was terrestrial channels and satellite. That was it. And not many people had satellite, but even then, people took a real notice of that whatever was on those satellite channels, or the TV channels. Everybody had seen it, so it was like the talk of the town. Did you see
Mhm.
that program? And it was like, but even back then, those things were like bombs going off. When a TV program would launch a bombshell of information, it was usually well researched, a lot of money put into that program, and it went off like a bomb, and people would be wanting more. They would
Yeah.
lap it up.
Mhm.
So these programs were well viewed, and television companies knew full well that these were some of the most viewed programs they had on TV. They were beating the viewing figures of soap operas and popular TV shows. Put a UFO documentary, just like plop,
Mhm.
bang, massive viewers, and they knew this. And a lot of TV companies were wanting to show more programs, but apparently there was a lot of pushback from executives, like saying, we don't want that, or
Mm.
the government or somebody was like saying, we don't want that, because people did want it. They
Yeah.
wanted it on the level of like the History Channel are
Mhm.
doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they weren't allowed it. It wasn't allowed to be out there, because there was enough interest for it to be on the level of what the History Channel does now. Unfortunately, I think with that comes dilution. Instead of good information and good research, it's now a lot of, oh, we want to make more material to keep them occupied.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of taking a little story, making it an hour long, and just stretching it and stretching it and stretching it. It's like an elastic band now, where how far can we make this little elastic band stretch, So, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, there are some of them that really do make you think, but for the most part, it's a lot of it's just, yeah, as you mentioned, regurgitated garbage.
And the worst part about it is, and this makes me sad, all of these, it's like fake shows, with
Mm.
fake ghosts and fake
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
paranormal and all
yeah.
this. Why is that there? It's because the people who make the TV, and let's be serious here, right? This Hollywood and TV people, what do? They make fictional shows. That's
Hmm.
what they're
It's
trained to do,
It's
you know?
entertainment. It's
And
entertainment.
like they think that it's what they're meant to do is make a fictional show about a ghost, but say that it's real. Yeah. To them, that's what the brief is, They
Yeah,
think, but isn't that what we're meant to be doing? We're giving the people what they want. We're giving them ghosts. And it's like, no, they want real ghosts. And it's like, oh yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's all entertainment.
hmm,
That's the way they think about it. Yeah. And people have to remember that TV people don't think like UFO investigators. TV people are TV people who will hire UFO investigators to make a
yep,
silly show. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've had my fair share of it. I mean, you know, hey, come on and tell us your story, and you tell this story. It's, of course, this story is obviously
Not
geared.
exciting enough.
Yeah, it's not exciting enough. It doesn't have enough demons in it, so we're gonna throw a few demons in
Yeah.
there, and we're gonna throw that in there and throw this in there. It's just, wait a sec.
Mm.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but Elsham Shady says Ancient Aliens, which is the classic. He says it is a really good program. It's tabloid,
Mhm,
uh, to the level of not even good tabloid. It's interesting, it's slickly produced,
mhm.
but is there any critical thinking going on behind what's being produced?
Except for,
You know,
what's his name, Sarah?
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. I can never even remember his name. Isn't Giorgio's
Giorgio.
Isn't
Yeah,
that the guy with the crazy
Snuffleupagus?
hair?
Yeah.
the crazy hair. Yeah.
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 Mm. And don't get me wrong, the reason I don't know the guy's name really well is because I watch it like out of the corner of my eye when I'm doing other stuff. It's like, you know, because it's not absorbing me enough because it's all graphics, fluff, filler. The 15-minute formula where they take 15 minutes and then you re-repeat it, add a little bit more in, re-repeat it and add a bit more in, re-repeat it and add a bit more in. You know, it's like they take the 15-minute information chunk that would have been 15 minutes, that would have been great, and then they repeat it and expand it, repeat it and expand it, and repeat it and expand it. So you go, well, I've just watched the same message 4 times during this show. Yeah, rinse, repeat, because they didn't have more than a 15-minute show. That was it. That's all they had. But they just rinse, repeat, and expand, rinse, repeat, and add a bit more, rinse and repeat, and add a bit more, and then your credits at the end. You know, so you have to watch to the end of the show to get the bit that should have been at the end of the first 15 minutes. You know,
Exactly.
Isn't
Yeah.
that like the same thing even with paranormal shows though? Now, that guy,
yeah,
crazy hair guy.
Crazy
mean,
hair guy, right? Like,
yeah, like, yeah.
That sounds like a great name.
I was
Crazy hair
gonna
guy.
say, I mean, from a photo like that, it's like, is it because I'm black? You know, it's like, what the fuck? That guy's trying to become part of somebody else's culture, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you were, going back to the truth seekers, and we'll do this a little bit more before we go for a break here, but the truth seekers review. What was your I guess favorite sort of thing to cover?
Well, it was usually UFOs, but
Yeah.
government cover-ups and weird stuff like alien abductions, kind of things that it was whatever I was coming across at the time. Sorry, that noise was me filling up. It's not me having I'm not sitting on a
Alex
toilet
knows
here,
it
folks.
well.
I'm not sitting on a floor toilet. That was like of me squirting in some vape juice.
You're squirting something anyway.
Oh yeah. Nurse, can you be quiet with that catheter? Yeah, right. Yeah. Matron.
Quiet.
Yeah. So it was just things I was coming across, because I was meeting a lot of people out there in life, and there's things like the CND, Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament. It's like you've got what the government tells you is about armed forces, projection of power into the world,
Yeah.
and what appears in the newspaper and the media, which is heavily controlled, and people would just lap that stuff up. It'd be like, oh yeah, more taxes. I'm up for that,
Yeah.
More control. Yeah, I like some of that. If we get more control, maybe we can stop some shit happening in the world. So I need to give up my rights, And I was thinking back then, the world's crazy and we're being lied to. How are we being lied to? What don't they want you to know? Yeah. That kind of thing. And when I was reading this stuff on the internet, there's a lot of very good, as we know today, a lot of good underground information comes off the internet that starts as conspiracies and only conspiracy theorists, which has been used to paint people as kind of like a dirty word.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those conspiracy theories become conspiracy facts?
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I was interested in. So, yeah.
And at the time of the magazine, I mean, obviously, a lot of them were quite different as they are, as opposed to now. But there were some really, really fascinating, subjects and events that were playing out that we really didn't have a handle on back then. I mean,
Yeah.
Stuff like, okay, yeah, you had your ongoing UFO sort of diatribe, but I mean, you had stuff like orbs, rods. I mean, did you cover rods?
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if we did cover the rods actually in the magazine. We might have done. I certainly was aware of them because we would share videotapes back and forth. Again, see, there was no YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
How did people share the latest stuff? You know, it was videotapes. You know, I had like a dual machine in my house, so I would copy from one deck to another. And it was I thought it was quite sophisticated, but I was into like computers, video editing, cameras, and I just wish I'd had a professional grade camera and like a movie camera and things back then. I had a lot more energy. I probably would have made productions more now than production level sort of. I was ready to kind of produce documentaries back then, and like got the doors slammed in my face a few times. So I just kind of went, fuck it, it's but at the height of the interest in that stuff, what was the point? But we used to share videotapes. That was the way that people used to share stuff.
Yeah.
So it was almost like instead of my magazine, which would come out occasionally, I would be sharing with people videotapes full of UFO clips, from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd be sending out tapes and tapes and tapes and tapes. My machines were always duplicating something. It's like, I was a bit of a software pirate back in the day, and like, I'd always be copying something. I'd even have a machine dedicated, like with 2 drives, just like, so
just copying shit.
Just put 2 things in, put 2 discs in, and it would copy the discs. It would just copy them.
Yeah.
And like same thing with video, and sort of with music, but less so. I'd kind of get the music I wanted, buy an album or something like that, but you couldn't buy video clips like that. You compile them and send them out. So I don't know if anything was similar with ghosts, but it certainly was with UFOs. I didn't get the impression that people were like compiling. Sorry, beer.
Yeah.
I didn't get the impression that back in the day there was a network of people who were sending out all their best clips of being in a ghost house, but there was certainly a massive network, and to a degree still is, of people wanting to share UFO clips. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I agree. I mean, there's shitloads out there still, and I think that's where you get some of the best cases. I mean, that I've come across, people coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Hey, what do you make of this?" And it's like, wow, okay, that's incredible. We need to look at that closer. And I think the fascinating part about it, Matt, is finding the owner of the source and finding out the story.
Yeah,
I think that's what I really enjoy, and a lot of people won't go through that. They won't jump through those hoops. They're either too lazy or they just want to let somebody else do it. But we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Matt. If you're listening on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course here on YouTube and our Twitch, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of Matt Williams and the Secret Vault. Yes. Later.
Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada. Founded in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now, and I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. There's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials!
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisions.radio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And that you are. Welcome back. Those of you listening on the New Visions Radio Network.
Disappeared.
He always disappears.
Where'd he go?
He always. The Equalizer says he's a ghost hunter too.
He's just sliding in from the side, shadow figure, folks.
Ghost. Sorry, the Equalizer. Can you explain the disappearance of Alex?
Oh,
I don't think anybody can.
You're welcome, Leon.
we should get some effects going, really, because I mean, like, we've got the blue screen, so we could do all sorts of stuff. We could teleport in, all sorts of shit, couldn't we?
I mean,
never really experimented with that.
It's like this here. Like, hold on, blended like.
My variation is that they wore costumes to.
How does he do that with his eyes?
I know, he's.
Jeez.
But Demon Hunter Alex, I mean Gord.
Gord, yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, anyways, okay, going on. Now the transition from the the publication, the Truth Seekers Review, into the digital age, into the, as you put it, hey, I could publish this online, and eventually becoming the Secret Vault.
There was a time when so people don't know the background. I'll give you a quick sort of like potted history. Like, I saw a UFO, triangular light on the side of a mountain when I was driving my car.
Mm-hmm.
That blew my mind for various reasons. I kind of like got into UFO research, then started heavily researching, heavily reading, because I thought, hey, I think this stuff's probably real now. You know, people aren't crazy. I used to think people might be crazy, you know, and I thought, well, either I'm crazy or there's some truth behind this. So I started believing. I was ready to believe. It's not like I want to believe. I was ready to believe people's stories, you know, because how could I judge others? You know, if they've had weird experiences, why should I judge them, you know, so much and say, you try to get to the bottom of it. Is the person a little bit crazy? And if they're not crazy, well, you have to listen to their story, you know, don't be so judgmental, you know. And so I was putting forward stuff like that in the magazine. And then I kind of investigating UFO stories whilst reading a lot, going to going to conferences, writing for magazines, and then seeing an outlet to kind of like share this information, put it on the internet, give it out to other people for free. You know, everybody has to kind of like earn a living. I mean, I had a job back then, and I didn't think I could ever kind of like, you know, go into this thing full time. And I couldn't afford to publish it, but then the internet came. So it was a way to publish for free, get it out to a wide audience.
Yeah.
And then things like, you know, shows like the X-Files were coming along, you know, and at the time that the X-Files was showing episode 2, where they were in what they called Ellen's Air Force Base, which was supposed to be like you know, the word Ellen's is, if you juggle it around, it becomes Nellis. You know, Nellis Air Force Base, which is Nellis is in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is Area 51.
Yeah.
Where does Agent Mulder go to see the triangular UFO that hovers above them and zooms off? Well, I was watching that when I'd just been to Area 51. That episode came on TV, episode 2, and I couldn't wait to see it. You know, the X-Files, this is great show, you know. And I thought, I've just been to this place. He's making a joke of like Nellis, Ellen's. I've just been to Area 51. I've just been there before anyone really kind of knew what this shit was about, you know. And it was like, and I was watching it in San Francisco in a friend's house, you know. Well, San Jose, near enough. California. Yeah, America. I was in America.
Yeah, you in America. You in America.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass because I mean, you know, I was just in Vegas last April and I didn't have time to get out there, and I really wanted to go out there.
Yeah, it's a long drive up there for
Yeah.
There's not a lot there, you know, but at least you could say you've been there. You know, you've seen the mailbox, you've seen the dirt roads, you've seen Rachel, Nevada, which is literally just like a petrol station and a cafe. That's it. You know, and some people have got some trailers hidden up the back that, you know, they wouldn't be happy if you went knocking on their doors up there. You know, some of them work on the base and keep it quiet, you know, so they're like, they don't want you knocking on their doors. But I mean, it's like a petrol station and a cafe.
Yeah, they got the Area 51 cafe or whatever it's called, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. And some merch shop.
I felt like I was working in customs and excise at the time. You know, I went out there when I was working in customs and excise, and they were like, you know, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going out to see this like secret base where they say there's UFOs. And they were like, you know, like, what a fucking idiot. What an idiot. Bah. What an idiot. Bah. He must be crazy. He doesn't know nothing. And I'm like, yeah. And my magazine was talking about things that they you know, expose government lies and government secrets and and they were kind of like looking at me, and they must have probably I reckon my employers had seen some of this stuff and they thought, oh, he's a bit subversive. Who the fuck does he think he is, talking about this shit that should be kept secret and the public shouldn't know, you know, all this sort of stuff. So they sacked me, you know. And you know, best thing it had ever happened to me was being sacked from the civil service, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just said to me, like, yep, you know, they know what I'm doing. And there was probably some pushback because I was talking about secret bases in the UK that dealt with UFOs.
Yeah, can't have that. Yeah.
And it came down from on high, like, get rid of this guy. So they started, like, you know, turning the screw, you know, the nail that stands up is the one that gets hammered down, that sort of stuff. And I just thought, well, you know, I totally accept this. I'm not like angry about it. This is just a natural progression. It's like an egg cracking open and a chick coming out, you know. It's like, you know, everyone else is just like an egg stage, you know. I'm the one that like cracked out of the shell and came out, you know. And of course, you crack out that shell and everyone's like, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's a nutter. He's a nutter. And it's like, oh, yeah, really? I'm a nutter talking about UFOs? Well, weirdly enough, folks, it's official these days, isn't it? They really do exist. It's really, really real. Just how much real you can handle is the next thing. It's not that it's not real. It's just how much real can you handle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have that stigma there though? In the UK?
Oh, I think the trouble is that anyone who isn't going along with just the mainstay,
Yeah.
Wake up, go to work, pay your taxes, go to sleep, get in a coffin. If you're not part of that game, then you're seen as weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think weird is good though.
I think weird is exciting.
Weird is great.
Worth getting up for in the morning, isn't it?
Weird is great. I hate to. I was never one to want to conform. I mean, yeah, I have to work or whatever, but I mean, I've never been one to conform.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't see any excitement in conforming.
You conform to your pantyhose.
Well, hey, that's not normal.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
When I was working for Customs and Excise, I was off on the weekends going to raves, taking drugs and having a great time, and thinking then to myself, this civil service I work for says drugs are bad for you and you shouldn't take them. Why is that? And it's kind of like I put things, I can't remember, I probably put things like that in the magazine as well, going like, so why are these drugs bad, when they can do this and they do this and they might expand your mind? So I'm like, and probably not putting as blatantly as that, obviously, but I'm thinking we're lied to about drugs, we're lied to about UFOs, we're lied to about the paranormal, we're lied to about everything, and it's all about pay your taxes and shut your mouth and fuck off. That's the world we live in. Pay your taxes and shut the fuck up.
I forget it. I forget who I read this from. Somebody who had been doing a little bit of research on the paranormal and how we're perceiving it is how they want us to perceive it. And that the real sort of aspect is hidden. It's being filtered away from us and to keep us in sort of check. And I mean, the real answers will never, whatever. But I mean, that's kind of a.
I had to show that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I knew Melissa was going to chime in as soon as you said that. Yeah.
It's a compliment. She says you have 3 legs.
Well, yeah, I know. But the problem is trying to find 3-legged fishnets.
Yeah. I think Melissa has a storehouse at her place.
You haven't seen my true octopus form, Melissa. An equalizer says, to get sacked from the civil service, you must be really special, sort of thing. Trust me, mate. When I worked there, I saw shit going on you wouldn't believe. And that if I told you the stories, you wouldn't believe them. Like people who got promoted for doing the wrong thing, right? I can tell you stories about it. People getting caught with prostitutes when they meant to be doing cases, and it all gets hushed up because it's too hot potato. So they get given almost like giving gifts because they got caught. Yeah. Right, people who they're complaining. I've got mental health problems. It's you. It's the civil service did it to me. So they give them a new house.
Yeah.
To shut the fuck up. Yeah. Right. I saw shit you would not fucking believe. Right. The civil service is rancid at the core, and I was not happy. It disillusioned me. I was like, again, you see, I'm trying to truth seek, and I've got all these dickheads around me playing games, and to me, it seemed like Freemasonry and. The one who cries the loudest gets the most given to them, and they're like, they don't deserve it, but they know how to play the system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people complain. They say this guy is on the dole or something. They, look at them. Look at these scumbags. They don't work and they're claiming all the money. You want to see the fucking tricks that yeah, sorry, we're on the radio. Yeah, the mamas and papas,
That's
right?
fine.
You want
That's
to
fine.
see what the mamas and papas do in the civil service, because they don't just do it like this level; they do it big. I
Yeah.
want big money. I want a house. I want this. I want that. Da, 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 da. And people who are milking the "I'm black, I'm a minority," yeah, milking that system. They were doing that before even woke was even a thing. Yeah, before we'd even heard that term. Yeah, the shit they were pulling to get money and shit out of that system, and I knew it because I worked in the personnel department, and we got to see all that shit, which a lot of people who didn't worked in the didn't even know was going on. There was shit going on behind the scenes, and we got to see because we were dealing with personnel.
Yeah.
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 So, and then I got to see it, and they knew that I was into all this shit, and it was like, and they were trying to screw me down because I was a weirdo, like paranormal man, conspiracy man, and I spoke up about some of the things I saw, and my bosses were like, "Oh, we've got one that can see."
Yeah.
And because I wasn't a Freemason, and I was told point blank, like, you could do anything you like if you're a Freemason, but like, you're not, your card's marked. I was told this. It's like my boss said to me, like, he laid it out. He said, well, these people can do this because they're these guys, and we're all here, and we're all getting exterminated so they can get more of their guys in. Freemasons. Yeah.
Alex, have you told your boss that you ghost hunt?
Yeah, I did.
I know it's it's
He's still waiting. He's still waiting for the documentary to come out.
Well, hey, as soon as we hit 1K, we're going to be throwing the. Soon as we hit the 1K mark, we're going to be throwing out episodes. The episodes. We got to get Alex, or sorry, we got to get Cord on the intro music.
Yeah, that's it. You gotta bust his balls.
Yeah,
We just lost a subscriber, actually. Fuck.
What?
That'll be me then. I do tend to have that effect. I've been described as extremely arrogant, but then again, I'm like, well, I'd rather be really friggin' arrogant than really quiet. And
I don't find you arrogant at all. Though. I don't find you arrogant at all. I don't think I've ever found you arrogant.
I love to debate people, and I say,
and
so
that's healthy, though. I mean, you should.
You've got a strong view. Let's have a chat about it.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people are kind of put on the back foot, by the fact that I'm I will go somewhere and ask a question. I will go to a government base and say, hey, you deal with UFOs. Can I talk to you? And their reaction to that is, have some fucking guns pointed at your head. It's like, I will do that. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of bullshit. Most people are. They're afraid to lose their job, lose their house, lose their income. Those are the most important things that people have in their life. Job, income, house, and maybe family, because that comes down the line, because they have to have all these three things first to deal with the last one, which is the family. They say it's family first, but it's actually no, all these things have to be fucking perfect before you can deal with family. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, to me, I'm thinking, well, should life be all about like work to pay before you can have family time? Yeah. Life. This is more important than those things, but people get it all ass backwards. It's like, no, tax and job and everything has to come first before family, which is why people, a lot of people, my dad, was out working all the time. You see him you see him in the evenings, he's knackered, and on the weekends, it's like some people don't even see their kids because they're working away. It's like, that's so important, like it's all more important than like, some people don't live long lives, and all they do is they just spend their life and throw it away kind of for somebody else's benefit, for some, other concept. I'm all about like, what the fuck are they not telling us? Because they're keeping us as a control mechanism. Religion and society are a control mechanism to extract energy from people what are they not telling us? What's behind all of that? You
Well,
know?
I mean, it's a given that society is a control mechanism.
Mm.
It has been from its inception.
Mm.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with dying. At least you're at peace. You have to deal with any of the bullshit.
You're away from that.
You say that, but imagine when you get to the other side, it's like, oh, right, we got to sign you up now for the soul taxation service. And,
Now, how do you know there is another side?
Mm.
You don't. There might not be.
I like to believe there is, because that's what I've been dedicating my research for many years to find out, because it's like,
No doubt. I would like it for it to be something on the other side as well, but we just don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure, but then there's not knowing for sure and doing fuck all in your life to find out about it.
Yeah.
And then there's us lot. We're trying. At least we're fucking trying.
Yeah.
We're making a little bit of effort to try and find out, UFOs was my thing, UFOs, but then like a paranormal and ghosts, seances.
You dabble in a lot of stuff, Matt. I mean, high strangeness.
Hey Matt, if you're ever in Canada, I'm willing to do a seance with you.
What?
We'll wrangle in Steve as well.
Are you saying we could possibly lure Matt over here for the gathering, for the nocturnal gathering in October?
Well, if he's up to coming.
I'd love to come. I'd love to go all over the world and meet as many meet as many people in as many places as I can.
I know,
It's just the realities of not having a lot of money, and and kind of like I cut my coat according to my cloth. And the great thing about you guys is you probably investigate things around you in Canada.
Yeah.
Because you can, which makes you a very powerful force to kind of put that out to other groups who are neighboring groups, and and we all kind of share that information and get it going on a local level. Whereas some people, they try to kind of like go astro, like, oh, I'm going to go off world with my research, and I'm going to be all over the world with my research. It's like, Jesus, that's an industry.
If you got money,
That's an
hey,
industry.
why not, right? That's if you have the
can do
money.
it. If you could do it, but I mean, then you again, it's like it's a job, it's like a work.
Exactly.
It's like nose to the grindstone to be able to go to all these far-flung places. Excuse me, I don't wish to have something dribbling out of my nose whilst I'm. It's not a good look.
No, we could say it's what's that thing that they used to do at those seances, Steve? The old days.
Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm. That's
Ectoplasma.
Yeah.
Hey Barry, how are you?
The plasmas come out of my nose into the field. Ball of light.
As long as you don't sneeze and some of that stuff hits your camera, then you're fine.
Oh.
It's burning the lens.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's burning the lens. Yeah, I agree with you, Matt.
I think we can together on this local level, or doing what we can achieve. We can add to this bigger, greater good. And on my local level, I was trying to do what I could in the UK, and certainly within the reach of where I could afford to travel within the UK. It was always kind of what I could afford to do, how much I could do. I wasn't trying to overreach, and maybe by publishing a magazine, I would have been overreaching. I'd have got in an incredible debt, and I would have probably gone bankrupt, and I would have gone, it doesn't matter, because at least I made the magazine. I don't care about the debt, It's like, but it's kind of like, try to do things within your reach.
But you're traveling quite a lot. I mean, you travel for hours to some of these places. Like, I mean, some of the places that you've posted, that you've shared with everybody on the Secret Vault, the explorers, you might do the odd paranormal sort of thing in some of those locations. But I mean, you've been to I don't think people who aren't in the UK, I don't think they understand the vastness. Even though it may seem like a small island, it's still quite vast. I mean, you do have to travel quite far distances to get to some of these places.
Yeah, I'm always like amazed by the difference between like the US and the UK, because like in the US there's this culture where people will travel 11 hours and then stay in a motel, and then travel another 11 hours and stay in a motel, and this kind of like travel stay is kind of like normal, and air travel, like getting from one side of the states to the other, like in the UK, not so much the air travel, because we don't have the cheap rental car rental at the other end. We don't have that, so it's kind of like everyone drives, but it's a long drive.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what people do in the States, we like small fry, but it's a different psychology, a different mentality to do with the travel aspect. And we're a small country, but
you have the history.
Yeah, we got the history.
You've got the history.
But like, getting hotel rooms is so much more expensive in the UK than anywhere else. And even finding one that, is open and cheap, it's not easy. So, but again, I'm kind of like of the mentality, like, why do I need a hotel room? I could stay in my car, sleep in my car. When I came to Wiltshire, brief potted history. So I went from magazine, UFO researcher, blah, 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 went into making crop circles for many years. I wanted to live in Wiltshire, so I lived in my car for 9 months on a hill,
Jesus.
And then eventually, because that's how long it took me to find a place, because there's so few places to rent, and I kind of found one that was reasonable priced and, would accept me, sort of thing. And then I've stayed here for 30 years in Wiltshire now. So I think maybe 30 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's kind of like a pilgrimage, to a place I love, where there's the right sort of people and atmosphere and paranormality and things. It's a good little hub to jump out from, but it's what I can achieve, it's within my means. And I think everybody can do something that's within their means. These people who say like, oh, I could never do that because, and they try to find reasons why they couldn't do something. I haven't got the money to do that. Haven't got the time to do that. I couldn't do this. Just do something. We've all got a little bit of time to do a hobby or an interest. Just do something to expand your mind, to expand your interest beyond the norm, beyond your walls, beyond your neighbors, and it keeps your mind fresh. I think you have to do it. So, but I'm still, even now, with I've gone from crop circles into urbex, which I think kind of dovetails. It's kind of like a dovetail from secrecy, and then during my truth seekers years, learning about secret military projects, what the government doesn't tell you, animal testing, nuclear, all this sort of like nuclear conspiracies, and the ways that governments are waging wars around the planet for oil or power, but it's all like, no, we're protecting the world against terrorism and blah blah blah. They've been doing this for years. They've been doing this since time immemorial. It's like, hey, in Scotland in 1600s, like, those guys over there are raping our women and children. It's like the same stories, the same rhetoric, the same thing, just with a polish on. It's been going on for thousands of years. It's the same fucking playbook. People need to wake up and just like smell the coffee, realize that television is just like the playbook. It's the playbook. You have to remember that when you've read it so many times, the script. It's like, I watch a movie, it's like you guys probably watch movies and you go, I know what's coming. You're like 5 minutes in, I know what's coming. They're going to do this. 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 And it's like, and then you just sit back and go, yeah, I was right. Yeah, they did it. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. Like, we should be writing movie scripts, because it's like, it's so obvious. I'm really amazed when somebody comes up with a story like that I wasn't expecting. Like The Matrix was kind of like, whoa, that's a nice idea. Not seen that before. Then everybody's doing Matrix clones, It's
clones,
kind of like,
and that's the problem. Yeah, you come up with a good
Yeah.
storyline, and then all of a sudden it does well, and then everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. That's the problem. That's the problem. And okay, so you're going on. You're doing a lot of urbexing.
Yeah.
But I could see, obviously I could see the link. I mean, I know I've always been intrigued with visiting abandoned locations and exploring them. And there's always that my sort of view was that, look at, hey, this place is no longer in use, but it's been left this way for a reason. And to think about the people who lived here and why they left it. Why is it like this? And you know what? Is there anything left behind? And I'd always have that sort of the sort of paranormal sort of in my back of my mind, and say, hey, okay, even though I'm going to explore this as an abandoned location, I'm still going to keep my wits about me and record and see what I can capture audio wise, blah blah blah, because things are happening here that we can't see on a whole different plane of existence. Hey Steve, how are you? Steve Wills is in chat.
Stevie Wills.
Stevie Wills, yeah. Hey Steve.
Yeah. Steve-O Knievel.
Yeah.
Look, your laptop's here, mate. Your laptop. which look has logos of Mindset Central.
Oh, hey.
The Secret Vault. Who's that? Skywatchers. Exploring with Carl. I'm surprised you're not on here, actually. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Secret Vault stickers, I'm waiting for mine. Did you get mine?
No.
You got my sticker, didn't you?
I'm not. I might have sent it out. I may have forgotten I've sent it out. If you want one, you can have one. Send me your address.
Right.
I'm not actually sure I've even got your address, actual physical address.
No, I don't.
Because when I get somebody's address, you know the first thing I do?
What?
Google Maps.
Google Maps.
Like,
and look at the
Google Maps,
neighborhood.
I look at what's in the neighborhood.
I know.
Does it look posh? Does it look posh? Yeah, right. And then
I do the same thing.
Google Earth. I'm like spinning it around, going, "Oh, look, tall buildings. Oh, right, there's a park nearby. Okay.
Hey, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty cool location. Wait a second. Is
Wait, there's a brothel down the street.
Yeah, is that an abandoned warehouse? Well, hey, that's cool, man.
I'm like
abandoned warehouse with smoke coming out of the chimneys.
Homeless people, homeless. No,
yeah.
No.
Wait a sec. Is that Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia? Yeah. But yeah,
I was going to make just a little point, right? A theme. I'm going like a theme here is like what you can afford to do, what you have the time to do, right? Well, I'd been sacked from Customs and Excise. They paid me for 9 months whilst they were going through some bullshit. And it was bullshit procedure to say, like, let's give you, without the details, it's like, Mr. Williams, you used too much eraser on your pencil. We're sacking you, right? But we're going to take 9 months to kind of go through the motions of why eraser is very important, you know? So it's like bollocks, yeah? It's a bollocks, complete bollocks. Just take my word for it. I'll save you the time. But they paid me for 9 months. And whilst they paid me, I was living in Wiltshire in my car looking into crop circles. And whilst I was there researching crop circles, I thought, wow, you know, it's like this is on tap. It's like a paranormal phenomena on tap.
Yeah.
People can't make these things, so I was told. Yeah. And I was there and I was meeting the researchers. They were telling me people could never make these things. And it was like, I was starting to meet their circle makers, and I was kind of like, yeah, why don't we try it? Why don't we try it? See what these experts think, you know? These experts, would they be able to tell the difference between a piece of shit and I made on purpose shit, you know?
Yeah.
To see whether they would like it. And they were like going, this is the best things. And I'm like, this is the worst thing. And they're saying it's the best thing. And so I'm like, okay, I need to rewire my brain then to kind of like, what's really going on here? You know, and I kind of like, then I started to make more better circles, and they were like loving it. And then I met the circle makers, went, oh, that's you. Oh, coming in. We'll kind of like be buddies, and we're making circles together, and it's all like blossoming. You know, the golden years of the crop circles when there were hundreds and hundreds, you know, in the summer months, and they were getting more complicated, and the designs were getting more impressive, and being there during those golden years, brilliant. But hey, what's the background theme? The thing running in the background here, right?
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm living there. It's not costing me any money. Yeah. It's something I can do. I've got the time to do it. It's within my means. So it's like something I can do in my back garden because I'm living there. It's something I can do. So on a world stage, I suppose those crop circles have affected millions, if not billions, of people who've seen them and gone, "Whoa, could that people can't do that," and all that. That's like a massive effect. So that to me is like publishing a magazine, right?
Yeah.
But I can't get the magazine into newsprint because it's too expensive. And then I'm researching crop circles, and what I'm doing is real research, but the publication of what we're doing is worldwide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and we're seeing the effects of that, like, worldwide. So, a lot of people might say, like, oh, I've never heard of Matt Williams. To me, in my mind, that's like publishing. That's
Yeah.
that's like having your own television channel. Yeah. And like everyone's like publishing all about what's going on your television channel, the latest TV program on your channel, the latest circle. It's like publishing, and we're
Yeah.
sitting there, and we are the publishers,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't cost us anything. Yeah.
No.
There's no upfront costs, and it's just your time and your love. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, come on. There are people, and I know this has happened because I know you've mentioned it. There are people that have come up to you and said, "Hey, yeah, I know your channel. I watch your channel. I love your channel."
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and does that make you go, "Wow, okay, this is cool," and I'm reaching people, and I want to. Does it want to make you do more?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you always have to know your own self-worth.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I was publishing this small magazine, which was seen by a few people in print, but more people probably online, I like to think that it probably had an influence that we will never know. It had more influence than you will ever know. And people would never connect you with that influence, but you still had an influence. A lot of people I've talked about many times. I've had conversations with people where I've said, do you remember this thing? And they're like, yeah. And do you remember that? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, I was involved with that. And that, well, I was the guy on that TV show, or I was I was writing for that magazine, or, and they're kind of like, whoa. And it's like, because they don't, people haven't got the great memory. They remember the story. They don't always remember the publisher
details.
or the writer,
Yeah.
but they remember the story. Well,
Mm.
transpose that into crop circles.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the writer or the publisher,
Yeah.
but they remember the content. Because if you say, like, well, which circles do you like? They go, that one, that one, that one. So, well, that was my mate. That was me. That was me with another team.
You're telling me it
like,
wasn't aliens? What?
Yeah, but it's like it's like saying everyone remembers Frankenstein, but
Yeah.
they can't remember the name Mary Shelley, or it's kind of like, and then they get it wrong because they say, well, Frankenstein was the doctor. They call, but no, you mean the monster, So it's like everybody remembers these tropes and genres and where they were when that happened. Well, people remember crop circles. They remember that design, and they always remember the shape. It's very vivid, yeah. But they wouldn't know Matt Williams or anyone else who's involved in this. So the story of how it really works is kind of hidden. And unless you go looking for it, you won't find it. But at least that information is out there. So my transition, like from there to there, then you're getting world recognition for a thing that, is kind of like it has its own life. But again, it doesn't cost a lot of money to do.
No.
And it's within your means. And then you extend it onto urbex and stuff. It's showing people all the stuff that people never get to see. All the money that's been wasted, all the secret bunkers that they built for them, not for you, for them. You're not part of their plans. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, but it's done on a shoestring. You know what I mean? And now because of the internet, it is like, again, it's worldwide. But then they get they've got to see me behind the story because I'm taking them on that journey.
Well,
You know?
and I'll say, Matt, I mean, you have opened up a huge sort of can of worms when it comes to all sorts of people who do it. I mean, there are like literally hundreds of urbexers in the UK alone, let alone over here. There's not as many here in Canada, but there are some, and I've watched a few of their channels and stuff like that. And of course, you have, what you have in the States. But I mean, the UK is just like, holy shit, it's on a whole different level because of the locations that you guys are able to explore, or you are able to get into. Maybe not always, whatever, but you do find these locations. You're like, wow, holy shit, this is awesome. Historically.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that. There's so much, and you put it like these war bunkers, these old bunkers, and tunnels, service tunnels, and so on and so on that were used during the wars, and I mean, Matt, are we talking about as early as, say, perhaps some of these areas? The Romans.
Abandoned landscapes. I don't always read the comments, by the way, but he just said a mat is uncut, and not many people doing this. It's actually true. I am uncut.
Uncut, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
I am uncut.
Yeah.
I hope you never get to see that bit, but yeah, I am uncut. yeah. I digress. But yeah, I've got a bit of. I think it's nice to have a bit of a sense of humor and not take yourself too seriously with this stuff as well. And far too many people involved in the urbex community take themselves extremely seriously to the point where they think that these locations belong to them and nobody else should be going to them, which is the kind of greed that I kind of think, well, hang on, that's the way governments work, isn't it? It's like, no, all your tax money belongs to us. No, get away, and it's like, no, all these locations actually belong to everybody. It's like, everything really belongs to everybody on some level. You can't sort of say, I'm a landowner, I own all these hills and all these mountains, and you can't walk on it. You can't walk on it, you can't see it. No. And that pisses me off. I like to rub against that. Like, no, royalty, you own the land, you own everybody, we should pay you taxes and just shut the fuck up. Yeah. It's like, no. You're like, I'm gonna walk on your land. I'm gonna look in your bunker. I'm gonna look in your farmhouse. If you don't look after it, you don't belong to have it. You don't deserve to have it. Sorry, you don't deserve to have it. Yeah. If you're not looking after it, it becomes all of ours. Fuck you.
It's
in a nice way.
You become the foliage that creeps in, the ivies that creep in.
Do you tell the trees they can't be there because they're trespassing? No, because if you cared as much about those trees as you care about us, you'd be cutting them down to stop them, encroaching your property. You'd be keeping it clear. You'd be spraying it with some sort of, DDT and Agent Orange, to kind of fucking get rid of the bloody, every insect and bacteria known to humanity. But you don't. You want to. People want to hoard things. They want to hoard it like a hoarder, like a hoarder house where they fill it with junk. They want to hoard property that they don't care about. The only thing they care about is stopping you getting on it so they can have a fucking argument and chase you around in a Land Rover. That's what they care about.
Exactly.
Confrontation is what they care about.
Take it and use that analogy with, say, the Whitby psych, Alex.
Yeah.
When you, I mean, you snuck in there, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was abandoned, but it was all boarded up with, there's people who had obviously gone there and removed the wood planks to be able to access the buildings on each building. They would do that because all of the buildings were boarded up. But we ourselves didn't actually do that. We had people who have done it before.
Yeah.
We found evidence in some of the buildings that there were people actually squatting in some of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We saw toothbrushes, we saw hairbrushes, we saw a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's that would have been an awesome place for you to go, Matt. It was an old psychiatric hospital that comprised of multiple buildings that was built in the early 1900s. And it was also supposedly haunted, right? And we had gone there a bunch of times, and one of the latter times that we had gone, I actually caught something on tape or on digital.
He's showing his age here.
Yeah, exactly. But
showing it well though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I caught that, and I listened to reviewed the audio, and I heard the secondary voice on the recording, I was like, okay, we have to go there and set up a proper investigation. Like we have to go, and I had all this grand scheme in my head where we go with like with a laptop, and we'd have like a central station where one guy or whomever would stay there. And then we have other groups of people like splitting up, doing their recordings and with digital photography, and come back to the central location and sort of download it immediately and review it immediately as other people went to other locations, right?
Upload immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we wanted to do it as quickly as possible so that we can, if we manage to capture something,
yeah,
right there and then, we can go back and revisit that spot. You know what I mean? But by the time we got everything established,
need a broadcast truck where you can have literal slow motion replay.
Yeah,
and a guy with a pointer so you can like the plays on the football field. And it'd be like, there it was. There was I'm just saying. I'm just you get one of those cameras that like goes through the building like they do in the stadiums. Like
on those
down
wires,
the corridor,
sure,
on a cable.
Yeah.
Realistically, it gets technically fucking challenging. People don't realize how fucking technically nightmarish those things are. But you had lofty goals, but you would have had to have had a hefty budget to kind of meet.
Well, I mean, we kept it within reason. It's not like we like digital recorders are not too expensive, and a lot of the people that I involved, a lot of the people that I was involved with at the time had their own, so it wouldn't have been too difficult. The problem was that when we finally managed to get everybody together to agree to go on a given day, we got there, and the whole complex at the time we got there was all fenced off.
Yeah.
Right? Because it wasn't prior to that.
Yeah.
And I mean that location was always slated to be demolished and developed into subdivisions. But it was always never fenced off. So we could always go in and walk around from building to building without any worry. But the day that we wanted to go there and actually do a formal investigation, we get there and the fucking complex was fenced off, and there was security guards there too.
The Matrix knew that you got it
Yeah,
all
the
together.
Matrix,
The Matrix is like, beep.
Yeah.
And all these fences went
there.
around it. It's like, fucking no. Computer says
It
no.
was an interesting place, though. I really enjoyed going there. The worry was always because it was because it was such an old complex. There was asbestos in there, and you're okay as long as you don't, move things around. If you're walking carefully and you're not shuffling things around, you'll be okay. But that was a concern, obviously. That asbestos was present in those locations.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a sneeze attack then. Sorry.
Yeah, that's always an issue. Yeah, worrisome about the asbestos and whatever might be present in some of these places.
And it's fine as long as you're not moving it around, right? Like if you're not, obviously the asbestos is going to be in the walls and the ceiling, whatever.
If I know you, Alex, you're probably fucking forming them in a line and snorting them.
That's right.
Hey, somebody said that's the reason we're all bald. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why we're bald? Because we care.
Yeah, because we care. Exactly.
Yeah. People who got loads of hair, got no cares in the world. They're surfer dudes. They're like, yeah, you know. It's like people who like stress over things like the world. What's the world coming to? Are the aliens going to land? Are ghosts real? We care.
Matt is sneezing out the asbestos.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, well, maybe because we did get ill when we went into a department store recently. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
you have
pretty.
abandoned malls in the States, like whole malls. Well,
Yeah.
you're in Canada, sorry, but
Well, same thing here, man.
you're just American at the end of the day. Let's face
Pretty
it.
much, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry if that's offensive, but
no, it's just we're a little bit
you
more.
sound
open,
the same. You know, you've got two eyes.
They
mouth.
don't have the L twang, the
Yeah.
A twang.
You fucking breathe oxygen. You must be American.
A. A. What you up to, A? What you up to, A? Or you could be on the East Coast.
Yeah. Was there a final? I was going to like it was arc trajectories. Like
yeah.
We do what we can, and then Mr. Rondinsky said, like we're gonna the Jean Demery, the gendarmerie, yeah, yeah. We all get these great ideas, but like the practical realities of pulling them off, like large scale cable runs, you know, to like be able to get video from one end of a building to the other to a central command station, you know, like is it going to be Ethernet? Are you going to have IP cameras? Is it going to be analog with loads of interference, long cable runs? How do you do it? You know, broadcasters know how to do this shit, but there's a big price tag involved in the equipment and the manpower. Just the cables, right? Just the cables. You'd have to have a van with cable on a drum. And then once you get to the end of that cable, you connect it to another cable. Then you have to have a machine that takes the interference off the cable for the long run. People have got no idea. I mean, like, how television programs, you just go like, oh, it's just a TV program. It's just a bunch of guys with cameras. The mind fuck of like interference, long cable runs, everything that goes into making that shit happen. If you could have pulled it off, it'd been amazing. It would have been amazing. But like, yeah.
I hated fucking doing that. I hated fucking doing
so
it.
much.
I hated
on a
running
stage
fucking
production.
cables from all these fucking cameras
Lugging,
into the central fucking DVR. It was a fucking pain in the ass.
Lugging lights and sound gear and stuff into a theater and putting it all together, and people come in and sit down and go, oh, that was nice. And they don't realize all the fucking thousands of man hours have gone into just like, you know. Yeah, it's brilliant. But
it's because we're all sitting down and we got our recorders and we got our pucks going and our spirit boxes, and they're talking to us right off the bat. 3 hours later, maybe.
I mean, now, I mean, provided you've got mobile signal, everyone could take a phone, stick it on a tripod in a different part of the building, and you could just have 5 StreamYard windows open. And
is that your doogie?
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, it's just a case, that is. It's just like a little protector for my...
Oh, cool.
So when I go into gay clubs, I don't get all the spooge ectoplasm. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah. But, you know, now we have like a television studio in a phone. Like somebody could do a ghost hunt with 5 of these, and they could be switching on their phone screen to switch the cameras. Like, yeah. So it's come a long way, but like you were very like, I love the ambition, but the reality of it is very hard. It's a lot of manpower, and you know, it might, you know, if you can get people to come for more than one of those and like be the cable runner, and you might need a generator or a power pack. Like back in the day, who had like inverters, like in the 1990s? Who even had inverters and lead acid batteries, you know, carrying lead acid batteries up to a building to kind of like run an inverter to run the power supply for a mixing desk and a vision mixer, then lights.
They were hoping that the light sockets would work.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do it, you know.
This place still has electricity, eh?
Yeah, we needed those Bigelows. We needed Bigelows back then.
Oh yeah, the Bigelows. Yeah,
Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
yeah, the Bigelows. Yeah, exactly. Bob Bigelow.
Yeah.
Well, we're at that time.
Oh my
We're
Yes,
at
God.
we
that
are.
time. We're at that time. Matt, we can make this a two-parter if you'd like.
Ooh, bloody hell. Yeah. Maybe there's more to be discovered, folks, because we're just touching the surface.
Well, like I said, when I stumbled upon the Truth Seekers review mag PDFs, I was like, wow, okay. I'd like to pick Matt's brain on this stuff because this is pretty cool. This brings me back to when it was probably the height of my interest as well, with a lot of the stuff, UFOs, the paranormal, and so on and so on. I didn't really have that kind of local sort of small magazine publication sort of thing. And I kind of pictured myself, if I had been growing up in Wales or close by and said, hey, fuck, this is amazing, I probably would have been one of those guys subscribing to that magazine, to that publication. And I know you did try to get international subscribers, right? I thought I saw something there about international subscribers.
We may have had some people who were sent to abroad. We may
Yeah.
have done. Yeah, I can't remember now. I think it's mostly UK, but
Yeah.
that was the whole point of the internet, was so that people could get it anywhere.
Yeah.
And hey, the biggest thing for me, the biggest buzz is like knowing somebody has read something or absorbed it and taken it in. And that goes as far as kind of like thinking, programs like the X-Files and have been influenced,
Mhm.
Major cultural things have been influenced by some of the little things we've done, and the little things you've done. That's amazing, to kind of think that somebody may have read that and like been influenced and then gone on to write a script or do a TV program or something. That's great, because from little acorns come big trees. So never underestimate the small thing you're doing, how much of a big effect it can have.
Exactly.
And this is the great thing about YouTube. Everyone's now become a TV station.
Yeah.
Everyone can publish.
Yeah.
So, try to remember that even though you think what you're doing is not that important and like nobody's going to see it, try and do your best, within your means, because having that broadcast truck, and putting on the big thing, may be beyond most people's means, to be perfectly honest. It's kind of like, but like, we've all got one of these,
Yeah.
and
Now, yeah.
100 quid buys you a gimbal,
Mhm.
and 50 quid buys you a light, and like all of those things can really boost you into kind of broadcast-ish quality now.
Mhm.
So you can get your message out there, and you're not like a lone voice in the wilderness.
It's so true. I mean, I fully agree because with us, I always kind of go back to when we did our live on location shows.
Sorry.
And I would really love to do that again. But I mean, we had this guy come up to us during a break during one of the shows, because we had a live audience. And the guy comes up to us and he's like, can I get your autographs?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
interesting.
it was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, no
He was
problem.
from India too.
He was from India.
Wow.
And it's like, how do you know about the show? Oh, I used to listen to it in India, and now I live here. I picked it up when I'm here now. I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
incredible. But it just goes to show you the reach that this format, us at the time, radio, internet radio has.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And unlike the Truth Seekers Review, which was a few publications which then disappears, you
Yeah.
can keep things alive, because these radio shows can be listened to again and again, into the future.
Yeah.
They're permanent record, and you might think to yourself, well, there's so much material out there, and it's hard to kind of like sift through it, But some mediums are good to listen to when you're at work, and it's not too demanding. You can kind of listen to it in the background. Like some TV programs, for instance, you'd have to drop what you're doing to watch what's going on, because otherwise you'll miss something. But like a lot of these programs can kind of be listened to whilst people are doing work and, ride in the car. So it's a good format, to do this sort of stuff,
Well, you know what intrigues me more, even Matt, with YouTube, because I mean, we just recently, in the last couple of years, started to simulcast a show here on YouTube and Twitch. But one trend I've really noticed, because the numbers will show you this when you go back and you look at your weekly numbers or monthly numbers or whatever here on YouTube, is the amount of people that actually watch these shows on their TV. on their TV. Like, I mean, it's not, they're not watching on the computer, on their phone. They're actually at home, and they'll tune in to watching these shows on their TV.
But again, you see, it's because it's an easy accessible medium.
Yeah.
The television could be playing audio, but they might be working or doing something, ironing, doing something, but it's on loud in the background and they can hear it. But it's an easy accessible medium,
Exactly.
And every once in a while they might glance across and see our faces, but they're interested in the audio, because ultimately it's the content that matters, not the people that are presenting it, not the faces. It's the content, and the content will always be really the written word. Like you were saying, I think you said earlier on about UFO evidence, but it's nothing. I think you said, and that's the point. It's nothing without a story.
Exactly.
And ufologists have always said you can take or leave photos and videos and Super 8 film. You can always take or leave it. It's the story is the most important thing. Because without the story that tells you the background and whether you believe the person by their story and what's been investigated about the person, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
The photo could be the blurry and just a spot, and but it's the story. It's like, this is what I saw, and the person is more important. This is why witnesses are taken seriously in court, and court cases are won by witness testimony, not by a blurry photo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll leave it on there. Matt, thank you, man. Always a pleasure to have you on. And
Cheers,
I thought, it was about time we had you on for a proper show. And I know we've had you on with these round tables and so on and so on and blah blah blah. But we had to have you on for a proper show, and I look forward to it. I'd like to do this again and like to have you on for another proper show. So
yeah, man, I'm sure it's gonna happen.
All right.
We got loads of time in both of our calendars, I'm sure.
Exactly. And I want
many hours free in a week.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody who joined us in chat and everything else, and hit the like. And if you haven't subscribed, help us hit the 1K. We're almost there. I think, like, I don't know, 51 away, something like that. We're almost there. Help us hit the 1K. Spread the word.
How come you haven't got 1K? I don't understand.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Racing ahead now.
I have no idea. I have no idea. But anyways, thank you, everybody. Matt, take care. Everybody take care. And we'll see you next Sunday night.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.